Welcome everybody. It's we're doing a different show. I don't even know if it's called a show. I think it's more like a one-off kind of thing where
Yeah.
Josh has joined me as we just finished. Well, we didn't just finish, but our Blades in the Dark by John
Boom.
Harper was just the last episode came out the week before. And something I was thinking that would have been fun to do is to kind of give my thoughts of this game. But then I was like, hey, why don't I get one of the players? And well, Josh and I are friends
IRL.
for far too long by some people's books. So I was like, hey, let's get on the call together. Um, and normally when people find out that we've been friends for long enough, Josh is like, well, let me tell you that Dave was almost born in my parents' living room.
It's true.
Yeah, it is true.
Your
I
your
I
mom was
wasn't
very
there.
pregnant and almost, well, you were there. You just
Well,
weren't born
yeah,
yet.
not I wasn't conscious.
And I was very small, so I wasn't aware of it until much later when my parents told me.
So um so yeah, then there's that. But I guess to start off, what do you think of season one? Because there's definitely going to be a season two. I don't know when season two is going to happen, but
Ooh. Um, yeah, season one is just completely crazy. Um, if you could just take random ridiculousness of three very different thuggish,
mhm,
um, not villain. They're not villains. But if you
scoundrels.
took if you took three completely different scoundrels and put them all into one group, that explains everything you need to know about our group. You have what we have: Killer Kai, um,
Mhm.
the
Velris,
Valeris.
Valeris.
Goodness, still can't say it right. Still can't say it right.
I
All
know.
these
Oh,
times
I did
later.
it off the top of my head because I remember how it was spelled, and then it was like Valeris. That's why J2 is not here. Also, he's like mad busy. I couldn't I couldn't go through another
You
episode of
can't get into a
mispronouncing this one.
streaming schedule. Um and but yeah, it was a lot of fun going through that first season, learning how to play Blades in the Dark with Blackjack and J2 and just doing everything possible to make that system break and it not breaking and just consistently having it show up well in our favor. Like
Mhm.
I thought someone was gonna get like fatal wounds, but we rolled well to get out of them, or we just don't understand the system. But
That's
that's
probably more the case. Yeah. No, I thought it was fun looking at everything cuz like from because with these shows I kind of have to play producer and director and GM, referee, whatever. So like I got to wear multiple hats and so to make sure that the show's entertaining, and it's like that's once we started the second episode, like well, compared to Traveler, which I don't want to talk about Traveler, but like Traveler has a lot more my influence on it, while Blades in the Dark is very much like reaction based.
Mhm.
I pretty much gave you guys a handful of missions and you guys chose which ones you wanted to do, and then it was like I had the basic idea of what was going to happen, but or at least who was there. Um, but yeah, you guys just did your thing, and we rolled, and it was very collaborative. I think it would have been Blazing Dark would have been a fun charity palooza event, but I don't.
Oh man, that would be such an interesting dynamic of like taking a crew
Like you
and
guys
then
just have to be
taking
a
like
full
three
crew.
or four iterations of that crew through like a charity palooza. That'd be
hmm
interesting to see how that happens.
Yeah, I think you guys would all have to be part of the same crew, and it's like your last big job or something like that.
Oh,
Um, but so like we probably like would I'd probably give you guys like extra experience points and stuff just to like boost your characters a little bit. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be interesting.
um, but yeah. So anyway, yeah. But the other thing I thought was really neat about that show, and I want to pivot to more into the actual system talk, but
Mhm.
I another thing I really enjoyed about Blazing Dark was like that was your first time meeting J2 and
Yeah.
Blackjack. Blackjack and J2 they crossed paths a little bit, but I don't know how much overlap there is. Um like the both of them and I kind of were in the same friend groups on our streaming extravaganzas, but and it there's a little bit of like testing the waters, like okay, we're not trying to get any farther, and I think definitely by like the third or at
Mhm.
least the second mission, everyone felt way more comfortable, and then the last thing, it was just everyone was comfortable with each other. Um, but yeah, so I guess to start off, like one thing I did like about the Blazing Dark system is just the playbooks.
Yeah.
I didn't get to play with the playbooks, but from what I read, I did like how there's like 7 to 9 different playbooks, not
Something like that. Yeah.
not including the 3 other ones that is like
Yeah, we didn't
vampire
go
and
into vampire and the hole and all of those other
yeah.
things, but
So um
oh, it's ghost, right? It's vampire, ghost,
Ghost and
and hole. I think you can
yeah.
play as one of those like holes that has like a person inside of it.
Well, the whole I believe is
Well,
what
one
holds
of
a
the
ghost.
spirits
Yeah.
inside of it. Sorry.
Anyway, but yeah, we didn't get into that, but it's like one of the things and those things are kind of crazy as well, but I did like how um you could give yourself um abilities that would like at the cost of stress you would be able to do potentially more, like in certain situations, like I think Kai takes an ability where they're able to like punch ghosts pretty much, like make it easier to do that. Or I might be getting mixed up with a different show that I listen to.
No,
Um,
Kai took the ability where they could basically take on a gang by themselves.
yeah, not to be
So
trifled with.
yeah,
I thought Kai took another one, but
maybe
maybe he
towards the
was.
end.
I was thinking it's towards the end, but it might have been something they were thinking. I don't know. It's been a couple months since we finished, or at least a month or two since we finished. Um, so that was something I did like, and I also like how XP is fluid.
Hmm.
So it's
That was
like
cool.
put it in your stats or your abilities. So it's like make your rolls easier or give your character more like cool options to do in missions. Um,
Yeah, which was a very cool dynamic. And then like desperate rolls
mhm.
was interesting. So if you did a desperate roll in in a specific like stat, you took that XP into that stat. But if you did a desperate roll just as a separate action, you could get extra XP just for that. And so that was a really
Mhm.
interesting dynamic of the system.
Yeah. So that was neat. How about you? Was there anything that stuck out to you with that you enjoyed?
Yeah, so I think like my favorite thing about Blades in the Dark is just when you're on like as soon as you get into the heist, it's just action, right?
Hmm.
Like it takes away all of the weird pre-planning that happens in other role-playing games where like you sit there for like 20 minutes as a party and try to like figure out, oh, how are we going to do this? Like, what's the plan going to look like? And so it takes a lot of the metagaming out of it. And
Hmm.
then so you're just like in it, like you're there, you're trying to figure out like what to do. And it took us like 3 heists to like figure out even how to use that system because we were all still trying to play it like it was like a D&D or a Pathfinder,
Yeah.
like when we were in the role playing part of like a heist. And so like it was just a cool system to be like, oh, I need this item here's the mechanic I can use to get this item, whether it was through a flashback or it was
Mm-hmm.
just like talking about what item I'm going to check off next on this like list. And then I get to role play out how I prepared for this thing in the midst of a heist that's already going on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just crazy. Like it was such a cool dynamic. And like I think even in our other games, like going back into like Miss Detectives or Raven Scales,
Literally the
like
same thing.
well, yeah, I
Yeah,
know
I know.
the seven name iteration of that show, and like it's taken like our encounters there almost to the same type of thing where we're not going to sit down and try to figure out what we're doing anymore before we jump into it. We just kind of jump into it, and then like
Mm.
if we have to like retcon something or we have to like go back and figure out how we got there, we can go back and do it. And so I think that's the coolest part of the system for me, is that you just jump right into the middle of everything and you have to figure your way out while you're going. And it's
Yeah.
not all of this other stuff to get to a battle or to get to a place, but you just are there. Like you're in the
Mm-hmm.
midst of it. And then you can spike a whole bunch of dogs' waters with ectoplasm, or you can open ghost doors every
Wasn't it
which way.
Quicksilver?
And
Didn't you pour Quicksilver into there?
oh no, I poured out what I basically poisoned all of the dogs with vials of that
Mm-hmm.
like demon dragon blood,
Yeah.
whatever it is,
The
like those,
Leviathan blood or
yeah, the
whatever.
Leviathan blood. So
Yeah. I think that's the second mission you guys did, where it's like
yeah,
you
that's
could
somewhere
tell
that's like mid
it's
season.
episode 4. I know it's episode 4. Um, but yeah, it was. I know, like I felt like I said multiple times where it's just like, okay, it's like you're not here to plan. You just like we're here to go in. You guys already know the plan. That's what flashbacks are, to be like,
Mm-hmm.
we already planned for this. And it's, I think in the later session, like the definitely the second half of the series, we see it. But even at in the second mission, uh with the, I think it's titled the Aggro Crag. Um it's yeah, I don't know why, but I named all the episodes like, let's see, I have it here. Um it was like the something. So it is, let's see. Episode 1 is the Scoundrels for character
Mm-hmm.
creation. Episode 2 is the Devil's Recipe, because that's, you were going to get the book The
Yeah,
Devil's Recipe. Number 3 is the Names, which I don't remember what that was for.
that was our downtime,
That was a
right? That was the
downtime. I think you guys were, oh, that's when I got that. That's because that's when I had to write Valeris's name down.
oh yeah, because I feel like the whole part of
And
the
like
episode was just you saying Valeris's name wrong a
that,
bunch of
and
times.
like I got like multiple names wrong, so that's what that is. Episode 4 is the Aggro Crag. Episode
Which
5,
I got to say, episode 4 is probably one of my favorite
I think
episodes of that
I
whole
think
entire thing.
episode 4 and the finale are like my two favorite.
Yeah.
Um well, this one should episode 5 is the Mama, because that's when we meet Mama T.
Mama D.
Oh, did you
Uh,
hear D? It's T.
oh no, I said I pronounced T very wrong when I came out
Okay.
of my mouth, and it
Yep.
had a big hard Philadelphia D instead of a T.
Okay, yeah, I was just making sure. I'm like, I could understand why that would feel like, because there's a line where you're like, this feels awkward, and I was like, you come over here, I will heal you now. And you're like,
And I
I
was
don't.
like, Ewan loves this. He
Ewan
is
loves
all
it.
about this big woman who wants to like fix him up.
Yeah, Josh wasn't.
I
um,
did not know how I felt about it, but I play my
yes.
characters the way my characters want to be played. So
So that was episode 5. Episode 6 is the Shot. Where that, I don't need to go into that. Episode 7 is the Sanctorium.
Ooh, that one's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then
A lot of bad decisions were made.
and then the finale, episode 8, is the Resolve. So uh I think the titles get better after the Aggro Crag.
I feel like Aggro Crag is the best.
Is the best. It's probably gonna be the one that gets, except for the first episode. But anyway, but yeah, I did like that. From a GM perspective, there was other things. I like how it was a system made to be like, just come up with a premise and then just react, which is kind of what I do already. With other systems, I have I have to set a lot more of the field and a lot more things. Like once, I think it is the Mama episode 5 or whatever I said that one was, is when we find the table in the back that has all the roll for NPC, and that's how Mama T was made.
On the
That's
fly right then and there.
Yeah, that's how H was made. A
Oh
character.
yeah.
I don't know why we're talking in spoiler, like, oh, people, because like I know in my head the episode hasn't released yet, but it's like this is gonna come out afterwards. Um,
I'll spoil everything, Dave. Just
yeah.
give me enough
Well,
rope to
like
hang myself.
episode 6 and 7, like all the NPCs in there were rolled in the back.
Which knowing that is awesome, because like it felt like you had like specifically made some of those characters for that like setting. And so to know you just rolled them is great.
the demon in that one, like that one was like there's a whole mechanic for rolling demons and stuff as well.
Cool.
And I rolled that like because I knew something was going to be in there. Like I knew that I wanted some like another threat besides just the undead that you guys are like, and the cops. So, and but no, it's there's that, and then just like kind of playing off the fly and like rewarding your guys' highs and lows. But it's just um I will say one thing that I and this is just, it's more of a me problem, is I did not like success with a consequence, because it's just like,
Oh yeah.
that was really hard for me to do, because I'm like, well, where is the line? Because I'm like, you still succeeded, so there's, but you didn't fully succeed, so it's just like there has to be a punishment. And so like it's like, well, you did what you're trying to do, but that's why it'd be like, oh well, the guards have heard you, or something on there. Like I had a hard time like on the fly, and honestly I think if I just played more Blades in the Dark, that might be something I get, like just building that mental muscle. That and Devil Bargain, the Devil's
Oh yeah, the
Bargains.
Devil's Bargains.
We didn't do a lot
I
of
think
them, but I
well,
like,
you gave us some sweet deals for not a lot of pain.
yeah, it's like it's more of like I just don't know where the line is to be drawn. But I think probably
I
in
don't think there's
season, I think
any
in season
lines in
2,
Blades in the Dark.
yeah, I think in season 2 it's going to, whenever we don't have a date for that, but I think just with how Duskfall was left, I think it's going to be a lot more brutal for you guys. I think I'm gonna have to make that whole stress like thing come into a little bit more, because I know I didn't push things as hard as I could have, and that was just also me learning the system. But
Well, and I think the system's built to cause harms consistently, right? Like the fact that there's 2 spaces for level 1s, 2 spaces for level 2s, and then the big level 3 harms. Like I feel like the system's built to consistently be receiving a harm as you do stuff, right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
we're doing crazy things. Like, if you think of just the life of like a normal criminal who just is constantly out there thieving or constantly out there, like, just whatever they're doing, right? Like, if I'm robbing stores consistently, something's going to go wrong and I'm going to like cut myself on glass, or I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to, like, I don't know, get shot. As so, like, I
Out a window.
successfully robbed the bank,
Mm-hmm.
but like, hey, my leg got crushed
Mm-hmm.
by the gate as I was going out, right? Or in my case, I had what, one of my successes with a consequence was now this ghost is following me, and luckily I had the spirit bottle to put it in, instead of it, like, I don't know, like, instead of it like taking over and possessing me. So, but it's just a fun system because anything can go wrong at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
But in the midst of it going wrong, there's ways to like role play it to to a better outcome.
Yeah. It's I would say like if you have a group that is comfortable with improving, that would be good. Like, or at least a couple people that are like, not everyone needs to be an improv, but be willing to work off each other. Because there's a bunch of times where, and it might be in season 2 once everyone kind of gets comfortable with each other. Like we definitely see it in the end where like you guys I think are supposed to like narrate more
Mm-hmm.
than I was. Like like at least with your specific actions, and like that kind of falls into like the fantasy D20 systems, D&D, Pathfinder, where it's like the GM DM kind of dictates the scene
Mm-hmm.
and like what is happening, while um in this one it's very much like when Blades in the Dark is very much like, no, like you like, I'll set the scene, I'll play the NPC and let you know the setting, but I mean it's like you just kind of give them the controls, like the player the controls of
Mm-hmm.
like of talking, and then like I'm supposed to play like reacting, and then like I'm gonna need to check for that, and that's when you guys like that. I think that was another thing, at least in the first half, that was a little bit confusing for the players, where it's like, no, I don't tell you what to roll, like you guys need to determine what you roll. um
Oh,
and
which
then
I loved because I just figured out a way to like use my things that I'm good at, and I was like, all right, here we go.
yeah.
Like, this is what this character does. This is how this character thinks. So I'm going to use this thing to roll this,
Mm-hmm.
because that's all he knows how to do. So like, he can't do anything else other than that. So
Yeah.
he's either going to succeed doing this or he's going to fail miserably trying, which he does, right? Like, I try to like stab the lady in the neck. Um, and then she falls on my character because I'm not using
Yeah.
a skill that would actually succeed well at it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's studying where to put
Yep.
put a knife on this person, and he's never done that before.
And then you get
And
shot
it,
out of a window.
well, yeah, that, can I just say, the fact that I rolled so well to take only like 2 stress on me falling out of a window to save
Mm-hmm.
me from dying. That character should have died right then and there. Like, that should have been it for Eowyn Spell Sage, and
Hey,
I would have
but
brought my spider character in instead of
he's
whatever I'm going to try to roll for season 2. And
you can still bring
oh
in your
man,
spider character.
we're
Yeah,
bringing it in.
he's, what was it? I forget what the ghosts call you, the voice or whatever it was, the one who speaks.
Oh gosh, I forget what. Yeah, I have to go back and listen. It was the aggro crag where you introduced whatever name they were calling him,
Yeah,
and
and then I immediately forgot it.
I think I wrote it. I like typed it in the notes in the
Yeah,
system
that's,
as we were going. So
I don't know if
this
it's
next
in,
time I'll have to take better notes on like what we do
I'll actually
for
have to take notes.
stuff.
It's funny because like I learned so much of like I near the end I started like keeping a little bit more better notes, but like my notes compared to this and Traveler is just like a night and day difference.
Well, but Blades in the Dark is so fast. Like
Yeah, that's
everything's
the other
happening
thing.
so quick that there's no time to like type it out. Like at least in like our Pathfinder game, like I can type out pretty much everything that's happening unless it's me talking. Like that's the worst thing. Like I can't do notes for myself when I'm like actually like in the midst of role playing.
Yeah.
But like
Well, between
in
you and
Blades in the Dark,
Elizabeth, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
no, but in Blades in the Dark, like everything's just moving from here to here to here to here to here. And it's like, oh, like this happened and then this happened. And it's like, oh, wait, hold on. Like, I don't even know how to
Yeah, I
put into words what we just did
I
because
think
it's
I think it's the biggest proof
crazy.
of me possibly having ADD because I was able to keep track of it all. I'm like, oh yeah, this goes here. Okay, yeah, let's go. um, but no, yeah, overall, uh, I think this would be a real fun system for people who want to do something a little bit different. It's really quick. Characters, like, we took 2 hours to make our characters, but we were going character by character. If you guys just do, like, I'm pretty sure characters can be made in between 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah,
If
I think
everyone's
if
just doing their thing.
yeah, I think if everyone sits down at the same time and then whoever is the what is it called?
The GM
The
or
G it's just the GM in this
yeah,
one.
yeah, just GM.
I have too many systems in my head right now.
Welcome
So
to my
like,
brain.
but as long as the GM like has an idea of how character creation goes going into it, I think 20 minutes max is what it's going to take unless like someone's trying to get really into the weeds of the system
Yeah.
to like metagame how they're going to play later. So
And the neat thing in the book is, which I kind of wish I did for the first mission, is that there are tables you can roll on to set up like jobs and missions and stuff. But it's like,
oh sweet.
yeah, but I just kind of I just looked at the characters that you guys had, like the connections you guys had, and made missions that were based off of them. And then after the aggro crag mission is kind of, I saw that you guys were just biggest money. We want big money. And it's like, okay. And so I gave you the biggest money job, but it's like that's when it was because honestly, it was supposed to be like an episode, then downtime, and then the Sanctorium. That's originally how it was supposed to be 10 episodes. But like I was looking at it, the more and more I was looking at it, I'm like, no, like after the events of the shot, episode 6, like it's like you gotta go, or like or something. There's gonna have to be a pivot.
Yeah, the way that whole episode goes down is so like I think if Kai didn't run into the police like
The blue
the police
coats.
officers right at the bridge, that would have been a completely different episode.
Yeah.
But like you have this epic fight scene where Kai basically just kills 3 people. Like
Manhandles the whole
luckily doesn't kill anybody, right? Like
yeah.
we made it through the whole thing without killing anybody up until the end of the shot. And like it just is this like insane like series of events that like now like our boats taking on water because of the actions of this situation, and like Kai's now separated from the party, so like you're doing everything you're not supposed to do in like a normal like TTRPG. Like you don't separate the party, you don't go off on your own like random tangents, but like that's how this crew
Well,
worked,
it
right?
just
Like the
built
crew
up.
worked
Yeah.
as 3 different individuals who all had 3 different goals, but were also working towards getting the most money for the crew. And it just like it's such a cool system of being able to tell each individual story that builds to crescendos, right?
Yeah.
Like and that's the cool thing about Blades in the Dark. And so being able to take the craziness of like the most insane possibilities of world building and storytelling to the point of like, hey, we're having fun. We're not stopping the fun for this weird downtime activity
Because
that
downtime is fun.
like downtime's fun, but like,
Yeah.
oh man, like we can't take downtime right now because
Oh
if we
yeah.
do, we're probably getting arrested during downtime. So like let's finish what we're doing and then see how off the rails it gets from there.
Yeah. It's like yeah, especially with seven between 6 to 7. But yeah, it's because like it was funny because like I remember telling you guys at episode 7, I was like, guys, you have a choice to make. Because I'm like, I'm looking at this and the way things are going, you guys have, I think we're on our last 2 episodes. And like I could see like the sadness in everyone's eyes, just like, what? And it's like I'm not ending it on purpose. It's just like looking at how the story is going, like I don't like we're getting the like a season end. And uh I I think they're all I like I know Josh is ready to come back. Well,
Let's
Josh never left. He
go.
went into the next game. But
Every game, Dave.
mhm.
Every game, as long as my wife gives me the okay.
um yeah, and then I'm pretty sure J2 and Blackjack are would be totally down to play another season. And I'm like, I'm toying around with the idea. I was like, do I want to bring in a 4th player?
That would change the whole dynamic, and I love it.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's stuff I think about that would be interesting. Um, but anyway, this went on for an extra 10-15 minutes longer than I was expecting, but it's all good. I think the only other thing that we didn't really dive into a whole bunch is that downtime is also really cool. It's just the different mechanics they have. Um, of just like, okay, you have 2 things that you can do. You got to choose. Do you want to de-stress? Do you want to heal? Do you want to do a long-term project? Do you want to gain a resource? Or do you want to like build something? And it's like you only have 2 actions without spending money. Choose wisely. And sometimes you don't have a choice. Like sometimes you just gotta spend all your downtime
Mm-hmm.
activities de-stressing and hoping that you don't fall into your vice. um
Trying to heal yourself and then it not
mhm.
happening both times you heal with a weird doctor and then
You
you
come
get
over
Mama
here.
T. Well,
um
I feel like both Valeris and um, Kai go into their vice. Like they both like over roll their
yeah,
vices both times.
and they both had different results, like different outcomes. Where I think one literally undid the work of someone else's downtime activity. And so um but yeah.
And I think downtime is really where you become like the GM as the player. Like,
Mhm.
because you as the GM are telling us, all right, tell me what your downtime activity is. And so, like, I get to say, oh, I want to train, but now it's on me to explain what the training looks like.
Yeah, and what you're
Whereas, like,
training. Mhm.
in D&D or Pathfinder, like, if I'm telling you I want to train, you as the DM is telling me, oh, this is what that looks like, or this is
Mhm.
what it costs. But for this game system, like, oh, I want to de-stress. What does that de-stressing look like for you?
Yeah.
And like, oh, I can go anywhere with this. As long as it fits the system, I can do anything I want. I can go anywhere I want. If I really want to, I can find a table in the back and roll out a character that I'm going to go
Mhm.
to do it. And it's a cool dynamic.
Yeah. And I guess the last neat thing I want to share, and then we can then close on this, is that I've listened to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I think 3 or 4 different Blaze into Darks campaigns. And then we did then there's ours. Um at, there's certain NPCs that are just like they give you NPCs and short descriptions of them. The guilds are or the other
The factions.
yeah, factions. I was trying to remember what they're anyway. The other groups in there, like they give you all them, like that wasn't stuff I came up with, and they give you kind of like a description of who they are, what they're doing, but like every group plays them differently. So like our I'm trying to remember the ghost man that you had.
Oh yeah, I forget what his name was, but
And I
like
can't
the way you role played him was awesome, because I would not have expected it to go that way. But like we're in that like weird space where there's all of the boats on the rivers, and so like to have him be on a boat, and that's how I like get on the boat with him and we have our conversations. That was just cool, like storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah, and so there's stuff like that. I'm trying to remember. There was one. Okay, let me just bring up the game real quick, because there is there you go. There's a character you guys had that I know was in a different one, and we play it completely different. As I see, who did Kai have?
It was either Kai's or it was Valeris's doctor.
I think it might have been Valeris's doctor. Nyrex, that's who your thing was.
Yeah.
Let's see. Melvin. No. I want to say it was Kai, one of Kai. Well, I know Quellen. She was in another game, and like,
oh, I brought Quellen up because Quellen was in my
yes,
list, and I brought Quellen up to be the person where I started that whole process of a long-term project we never got to.
yeah, and but like Quellen's character, like whole interaction, like what she did was like the way she was played was completely different from how I've heard her played, where it's like a lot more of like the mystic and stuff, where like we played her more as like kind of a crazy mad scientist character that's just like, oh, we're gonna build what. And so yeah, it's like everyone's character, like it gives you the framework, and everyone's different. But yeah, this episode went way longer than expecting, but hey, it was good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, if you guys are listening to this, I don't know where Traveler is at the point, so because let's see, we just recorded episode 3, so yeah, I don't know. My hope is that I can start coming out at some point, either at the end of August or September.
That means it's past December when we'll actually see it.
Depending on scheduling. I think this group's able to meet a little bit easier than the other one. So
no, I was just joking because what was it?
Blades in the Dark pushed everything back because like just things did not work out. But
well, and you guys started shooting Call of Cthulhu like in July, and then you were hoping to have it out for like October, and then you pushed it later to come out, or it came out in October.
No, it came out in October. It came out when we wanted it to. Yeah. Call of Cthulhu was, yeah, that was very by design, to make sure that we could get enough episodes in advance. But yeah, I'm kind of toying with the idea of bringing some of these shows to like be streamed live, but I don't know.
That'd be fun.
I think it would be interesting. It'd be a little bit more
doable.
I think it's doable. It's just a scheduling thing, but that is not the point of this episode. So everyone, I will let you know when season 2 is getting ready. Thank you everyone who watched the Den of Necessity or Blades in the Dark game, and definitely go play Blades in the Dark because it's a lot of fun. And thank you for listening to 40 minutes of us talk. So until next time, peace.
Be a scoundrel.